out of the next room. Ella saw this and had to run for her life. In the panic, her phone fell to the ground. Ella ran back to her office and locked the door. She wanted to call for help, but found that the phone and internet were not working well. Outside the door, the man in black was using a drill to pick the lock. Since the lock was of really good quality, the man in black simply smashed the glass. Ella hid under the table in fear. Seeing the man in black holding a hammer getting closer and closer to her, Ella was already trembling with fear. Luckily, the security guard arrived at this time. The black-clad man had to flee immediately upon seeing this. Later, the police arrived at the scene to investigate, but today's company surveillance was undergoing regular maintenance, so for the time being, there was no way to know the suspect's appearance, and the company had been notified of the surveillance maintenance via email, which meant that everyone in the company was a suspect. The next day, Ella stood in the office and looked at all the employees, trying to analyze who was most likely to have attacked her last night. At this time, she suddenly remembered that there was a camera on the furniture module on her desk yesterday. Ella did not find that module, but she accidentally found a parking ticket on the ground that didn't belong to her. She took the parking ticket to the parking lot and got the car key from the security guard. Ella found a white car. After some searching, Ella found the shirt that the man in black was wearing last night in the trunk. She returned the key to the security guard and then lurked near the car. Soon she saw In Tai-woo open the car door, and this In Tai-woo was her best male friend. Ella really didn't think that her best friend would want to kill her, so she called her husband Su Shunyong for help, but Su Shunyong's phone was unanswered. That's why Ella went to the gym to find her. But who knew her husband was having an affair with her best friend? Betrayed by her friend's husband and her best friend one after the other, Ella felt bad enough. At that time, an insurance investigator named Lewis found her again. From Lewis, she learned her stepfather had once bought insurance for her mother worth 500 million won. The reason the investigator approached her was because they had missed one point, which was that Ella's mother had been admitted to the hospital 3 times for while she was still alive, although the hospital records at the time stated that she had eaten it by mistake. But who could eat pesticide by mistake 3 times? And these things Ella had never heard her stepfather mention. At night Ella walked alone on the street. She felt as if she had lived a joke. However, at this time a black-clad man appeared behind her. In a panic, Ella desperately ran forward. Unexpectedly, she was still caught by the black-clad man, and then he threw her into the river. When Ella woke up in the hospital, she saw the faces of 3 men. One was her husband who betrayed her with her best friend, one was her stepfather who killed her mother, and the other was her best friend who wanted her dead. Ella was unharmed, so she was discharged the next day. Her best friend came to visit her at the office, and in the face of her best friend's care she felt nauseous. Soon after, her stepfather brought her beef bone soup. Thinking that her mother was hospitalized after eating 3 times of pesticide by mistake, Ella didn't dare to drink a single sip, and immediately poured all the soup down the drain. Afterwards, Ella found Lewis. Lewis was a former criminal investigator in the Major Crimes Unit, who resigned after being investigated for suspected bribery, and then became an insurance investigator. Ella hoped that he could investigate the cause of her mother's death, but not for the insurance company, but for herself. Of course,